What if someone told you that your unhappiness isn't caused by others, your past, or the injustices you've faced? And what if they told you that, deep down, you're afraid to be truly happy? That bold idea is at the heart of The Courage to Be Happy by Ichiro Kashimi and Fumita Kakirikoga. An idea that may shake you, but also set you free. Are you ready to hear it? We all want to be accepted by friends, by family, by co-workers. We seek compliments, likes, admiration. And often, without realizing it, we shape our entire lives around that desire. How we look, what we say, how we behave. But the book challenges us to face a hard truth. The more you depend on the approval of others, the further you drift from your authentic happiness. Why? Because in order to please others, you must adapt. Wear masks. Suppress your thoughts, your desires, your dreams. And the more you adapt, the more disconnected you become from your true self. You might appear successful on the outside, but deep down, there's a void. The dilemma is simple, but difficult. Will you live to please others, or will you have the courage to live the life you want? True happiness requires breaking free from the need for approval. To say, I don't need validation to be worthy. I don't need admiration to feel whole. This isn't selfishness. It's self-respect. And it's the very first step toward genuine happiness. How many times have you said or heard the phrase, "It's not my fault, that's how I was raised"? Or, "If those things hadn't happened in my childhood, I'd be a different person now." Society has taught us to explain everything through the past. Our emotional wounds, traumatic experiences, and upbringing are often seen as the defining forces of who we are. But Adler's philosophy challenges this belief. You are not the result of your past. You are the result of your choices. Adler doesn't ignore the past. He simply says it has no power over you unless you give it that power. If you say, "I am this way because they hurt me," you live as a victim. But if you say, "I am this way because I choose to carry that pain," then you start to reclaim your responsibility and your freedom. The past cannot be changed, but your attitude toward it can. And that shift in perspective is enough to transform your present. One of the book's most revolutionary messages is that you don't need years of therapy to overcome your past. What you need is courage. The courage to say, "I won't let yesterday define tomorrow." This doesn't mean the pain didn't happen, but it means you no longer let it drive your life. According to Adler, your life isn't a chain of events. It's a series of decisions, and your next decision can change everything. How often do you feel like you're not in control of your life? That others are to blame for how you feel? Your job is stressful. Your family doesn't understand you. Your environment is holding you back. It's easy and human to believe that the cause of your unhappiness lies outside of you. But according to Adler, the more you blame others, the weaker you become. Because every time you say, "I can't because you're giving away a part of your power. You're telling yourself, "I'm not responsible, I have no choice, I'm trapped." On the other hand, when you say, "I am responsible for my life," something shifts. It doesn't mean you're to blame for everything. It means you're in control. Responsibility is not a burden. It's freedom. It's the ability to say, "Even if I can't control what happens to me, I can choose how I respond." Adler offers a mindset that transforms you from a spectator into a creator, from someone who waits for circumstances to change into someone who creates change. Taking responsibility can be frightening because it removes your excuses, but it's also liberating because it removes your limitations. The road to happiness doesn't begin with changing the world around you. It begins with a single decision within you. I take responsibility for my life, and that gives me power. We've all experienced conflict, arguments with co-workers, tension with friends, fights within the family. Often, We believe these disagreements are about ideas or actions. But beneath the surface, something deeper may be at play: the struggle for power. Adler reveals that many human conflicts are actually battles for dominance. Who's right? Who gets the last word? Who controls the situation? This power game begins at a young age. A child who feels powerless might act out, rebel, or challenge authority, not out of malice, but as a way to gain significance, to feel a sense of control. This pattern continues into adulthood. In relationships, conversations, and the workplace, the urge to win often outweighs the desire to understand or collaborate. Adler invites us to step away from the power struggle, to refuse to participate in control games, to choose cooperation over competition, acceptance over dominance. And this takes courage, because it means you no longer need to prove your worth. You already have value, and it doesn't depend on winning an argument. When you accept that you don't need to overpower anyone, you begin to live with true freedom and inner peace. From a young age, society teaches us that we must become better, work harder, improve yourself, evolve. And yes, progress matters. But there's a crucial point that often gets ignored. How can you truly change if you don't first accept who you are today? According to Adler, real change doesn't begin with self-rejection. It begins with self-acceptance. Not, I'll love myself when I improve, but I love myself even though I'm not perfect. This doesn't mean giving up or settling. It doesn't mean abandoning growth. It means building your life on solid ground, without constant inner conflict. When you don't accept yourself, you live with guilt, shame, and anxiety. You chase perfection, believing that only then you'll be enough. But that perfection never arrives, because it doesn't exist. Self-acceptance is the starting line. It's saying, I have flaws, I've made mistakes, I have a past, but I'm okay as I am right now, and from here, I move forward. That takes courage. The courage to look in the mirror and say, I don't need to prove anything. I have worth simply because I exist. Only when you stop fighting yourself can you truly begin to grow. And only then can genuine happiness take root. We talked about the conflict between seeking approval and finding true happiness, about the power of personal responsibility, and the courage it takes to accept yourself just as you are. And if there's one thing to take away, it's this: you don't need to wait for the perfect moment to be happy. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to dare. If you found value in this video, give it a like so it can reach more people. And if you want to continue this journey with me, subscribe to the channel Pages and Ideas. Part 2 is coming soon. And trust me, the most powerful insights are still ahead. Until then, remember, happiness isn't a destination. It's a choice. And you deserve it.